Now we will talk about performing art. When it comes to performing art, it means those art forms which is being performed by individual, alone, or in group. Now, this performing art is when we have discussed its introduction, the introduction of art and culture. We have discussed that performing art are of three types: dance forms, music forms, and miscellaneous art forms. Miscellaneous art forms like certain martial arts, certain sports, clear, or certain festival in which some activity is being performed. Clear, which cannot be considered as a dance, which cannot be considered as a music. Clear. And at last, there is paintings. Paintings, some of the paintings we have referred when we discussed about the art and architecture, when we discussed about the prehistoric age. Clear. But now here, because questions is being asked, we'll discuss here it in detail. Now, questions are few from these two areas, or even if question is being asked from this particular area, it is being covered in current affairs. So you will repeatedly look into those things, that current affairs, there are certain art form which is being performed, there is being certain art form which is being recognized, there is being certain art form which has been given national importance. So in that sense, such activities which is there in news needs to be read here in current affairs or miscellaneous art forms. Clear? To begin with, when it comes to dance form traces its origin from Natya Shastra, the earliest book which is also recognized as the fifth Ved, the book written by Bharat Muni. It talks about the dance forms, different type of dance forms, different type of dance, and which type of dance is performed in which particular event. Here not only dance, it also talks about the different dimensions of dance. So when it comes to dance, or when it comes to Natya Shastra, it also draws its inspiration from Vedas. Clear? It draws its inspiration from Vedas, like the words in a particular dance is being taken from Rig Ved. Music, we all know, Samved. Gestures from Yajurved, and emotions from Atharvaved. So, Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra draws inspiration from four Vedas only. So, what we can say, music traces its origin from Samved, whereas dance traces its origin from Natya Shastra, and Natya Shastra is also inspired from the four Vedas. Clear? When it comes to dance, it comprises of three basic elements. Clear? Three basic elements are there in a dance. First is Natya, that is the gesture. Clear? What the particular hand movement. Clear? The hand movement needs to be correct. If it needs to be pointed, it needs to be pointed. Clear? So that type of gestures. So it is an essential part of dance. Second is nritya. Now this is different. Clear? Nritya is the pure dance. It is pure dance. Here we will not talk about the facial expressions. Expressionless dance will be nritya. Clear? And if emotions are being added, clear? Facial expressions are added, then it is called as nritya. So there is a difference in nrit and natya. Okay, so that is what the three basic components in a dance form and which needs to be there. And when it comes to dance forms, it can be divided in two categories. One is classical, another one is folk. Clear? Classical dance forms are few. Classical in the sense which traces its origin in ancient Indian history. Clear? which is being performed by various people and having great literature and scientific base. That particular dance form is called as a classical dance. Now, when it comes to dance form, classical dance forms, classical dance forms are 8 in India. Clear? Though Ministry of Culture also recognize one more dance as classical dance, but the academy which is pioneer or main academy with when it comes to activities related with dance and drama, Sangeet Natak Academy. It recognizes only 8 type of classical dance. Clear? But Ministry of Culture also recognize one more dance form as classical dance. Now, when it comes to classical dance comprises of two elements. One, Lasya, second, Tandav. Clear? Lasya and Tandav. Now, what is this Lasya and Tandav? Lasya is simply the emotion, simply emotion. And Tandav is simply the rhythm. Clear? So, in a dance, particularly if it is a classical one, there needs to be emotion as well as rhythm. If it is not there, clear, then it cannot be considered as a complete dance form. So, grace, bhav, ras, and abhinay, mainly those aspects which comes from emotions, are part of lasya, or it represents the feminine part of the dance. Clear? And when it comes to Tandav, it represents rhythm or masculine aspect of dance. So a dance form, classical dance form, is a combination of both Lasya and Tandav. And it is based on Guru Shishya Parampara. Clear? You cannot learn classical dance on from YouTube. You can learn, okay, but you cannot master it. Clear? It has to be on a Guru Shishya Parampara. You should have a Guru in order to learn classical dance in a perfect way. So, when it comes to classical dance, it also has certain ras, because both rhythm and emotion needs to be there, and emotion is what is called as ras. So there are 9 types of ras, which is when it comes to classical dance: Shrangar, Raudra, Veer, Adbhut, Hasya, Shant, Bhayanak, Bibhats, and Karuna. So these 9 ras are there, which represents different style. So when love and affection needs to be shown in while dancing, it needs to be a dance inculcating Shrangar ras. When bravery or courage needs to be showed, a more masculine part, it needs to be a Veer ras. Clear? So that is what different types of emotions which has been inculcated in a particular dance form. Clear? Now, classical dance are of 8 types. They are mainly Bharatnatyam, Kathak, Kathakali, Kuchipudi, Manipuri, Mohiniyattam, Odissi, and Satriya. Clear? इसके अलावा the Chow dance from Assam is also recognized as the classical dance by ministry. It is being recognized by ministry, and these 8 are recognized by the Sangeet Natak Academy. It recognizes only 8 type of dance form. Now, some basic information. Not in detail, UPSC is not going to ask particular in-depth information from these particular art. They will ask you about the areas. Clear? The prominent, either it is the question will be related with costume, the gesture, or what type of dance they perform. Clear? So these type of questions will be there from this particular section. So we need to refer to those things. Clear? So you must recognize Remember, 8 types of dance recognized by Sangeet Natak Academy, and ninth one, the Chow dance, is being recognized by Ministry of Culture. So Ministry of Culture recognizes 9, Sangeet Natak Academy recognizes 8. Clear? Now, first and foremost is Bharatnatyam. When it comes to Bharatnatyam, it traces its origin from Natya Shastra only, and it was mainly performed in South Indian temples, performed by Devadasis, servants of the temple. Clear? And they performed it during the certain events in temple, certain festival when it is being celebrated. So this particular Bharatnatyam dance is being performed in temples. And because it is performed by Devdasis, it is also called as Dasiyattam. Clear? Now, over the period of time, this dance form has been performed, but during British colonial era, because they considered Devdasi system as an evil, and they took undertook various activities which discouraged these things. Clear? But after independence, these things had got revived. Clear? And there are certain individuals who brought this Bharatanatyam dance out of temple. Now, it is not an essential condition that Bharatanatyam needs to be performed in temple only. It can be performed anywhere. Certain dancers like Rukmini Devi Arundel, clear, they were the one who brought Bharatanatyam dance out of temples. Okay, so it is also known as Dasiyattam. Clear? Vahi Bharat Muni ka Natya Shastra. It is what we can say Bible when it comes to dance forms. Okay. After this, Abhinay Darpan, written by Nandi Keshav. It also talks about the Bharatnatyam dance and how it is performed. Clear? We also have evidences of Bharatnatyam from Sangam literature, Silpadikaram and Mani Meklai. Clear? These are two books which you need to remember, because if UPSC is going to ask you question from Sangam literature or Sangam text, it needs to be from these two. Or if not from these two, they will ask from Ettu Koi, another Sangam text. यहाँ से question होगा या फिर यहाँ से होगा. Clear? So you need to remember these 3 words. Clear? Now, Bala Saraswati, Rukmani Devi Arundel, they were the pioneers when it comes to reviving Bharatnatyam after the suppression done by Britishers, and they were the one who brought this particular dance form out of temple. Otherwise, it is was performed in temples only and mainly called as Dasiyattam. Now, one more thing, that this particular dance is being performed in Tamil Nadu. Clear? Mainly in Tamil Nadu. Next is important features. Clear? When it comes to Bharatnatyam. So Bharatnatyam comprises of Nritya, Natya and Nritya. So Abhinay is also there, gestures are also there, pure dance is also there, and emotion is also there. It is performed by both men and women. Performed by both men and women. Bright colored costume is there and ornaments are being used. Clear? Mainly it is performed with bright costumes and ornaments with no props. We can say that. Hand and leg movements are the main element of this particular dance form. It is performed on Carnatic classical music. Now, this is one thing which needs to be remembered by you people, that all of the classical dances is being performed on classical music only. Clear? Except the one or two which is not being performed on typical classical Carnatic music. Clear? So, Carnatic classic music is what is being used during the time of Bharatnatyam, and generally there are two vocalists, two singers are there, one to sing and other to provide the rhythmic pattern to the performer. Then some factual information are there which is hardly required. As I have told you, questions will be there, but not that much in depth, which we are discussing here. Clear? So, important things. Apart from it, some prominent leaders, sometimes questions is being there in your mains examination as well. Bijju Maharaj, Mrinalini Sarabhai, Mallika Sarabhai, and there are so many. So, Bharatnatyam, a dance form which is being recognized as classical dance, are having so many of prominent artists. Now, second one is Kathak. You must recognize this Kathak is performed in Uttar Pradesh. Clear? And it is part of that particular typical Indian and Islamic culture. So, when it comes to Indian art form, it is also included. When it comes to dances in Islam during the time of medieval India, clear? It was also being performed. It consists of three sections. First, invocation. Clear? Invocation, where you are saluting. In that invocation, either it is a salute if dance is performed in Hindu premises or for a Hindu audience, and if it is the Muslim audience, then salami is given. Salami is given, the invocation, where prayer is being performed. Clear? Initial prayer. Then Nritya and Natya. Clear? The third aspect, the Abhinay, clear, is absent here. Here, Natya is absent. Clear? Kathak is performed in both Hindu and Muslim people, as I have told you. Clear? Instruments, when it comes to instruments, mainly when it comes to Kathak, the voice which comes in your mind is the voice of a tabla. Clear? But actually, Kathak needs to be performed on a combination of 12 musical instruments. Musical instrument is what is required. But even if a single tabla is there, it can be performed mainly. So that's why the voice of tabla, jhanj, manjira, sarangi, these things are the main instrument in Kathak. Okay, next one is Kathakali. Clear? Kathak is in Uttar Pradesh. Kathakali belongs to Kerala. And it literally means story play. Now, this is one thing which is clearly depicted here, that when story will be played, so what will happen? Nritya, Nritya and Natya. All thing will be there. Clear? Nritya, Natya and Nritya. All the three elements will be there in Kathakali. It is connected with various socio-religious aspects, and stories are being depicted. Stories from Ramayana and Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita. Then over the period of time, it was thought that it is religious in nature. So certain secular content, secular stories has been also brought into this particular dance form. Clear? And when it comes to Kathakali, it is being performed by an ornate costumes, face mask, headdress, and brightly painted face. So, facial expression is what is very essential when it comes to Kathakali. There are so many of ornaments or props which are being used in Kathakali. And when it comes to instruments, idaka, chenda, and maddalam. It is different form of tabla types instruments are there, drum type instruments are there only. Clear, which is being used during the time of Kathakali. So you need to remember this, and this is a dance form from Kerala. Now next one is Kuchipudi. Kuchipudi is similar, very similar to that of Bharatnatyam, but certain differences are there, and it belongs to Andhra Pradesh. It belongs to Andhra Pradesh. It is an enlarged product of Bhakti movement during 7th century. The Bhakti movement which is being performed in South India, what we can say, some of the dance form evolved from Bhakti as well. So Kuchipudi is one among them. Kuchipudi is a dance drama. So drama hai, dance hai, so it will have all the three elements. And when it comes to three elements, these are Nritya and Natya. Clear? Kuchipudi dancer is a multiple person on the stage. Clear? The single person in Kuchipudi will depict multiple personalities or multiple individuals or characters because it is a drama. So there will be various characters. Clear? And when these characters needs to be depicted, the single person depicts multiple characters as well. Clear? And the consequence is the emphasis. Okay. Okay. Again, it has been accompanied by Carnatic music. Next one is Manipuri. Now, this Manipuri dance is being performed by Maitis, a tribal group from Manipur. It is being performed by the tribal group of the Manipur Valley, and mainly again it is being performed in temples. Clear? The predominant theme of this dance is devotion because it originates from the Bhakti movement from south northeast India. So Manipuri dance came out of the Bhakti movement of south northeast India, and hence the main element or predominant theme is devotion. Clear? It is introverted dance. Introverted dance means the performer doesn't have any eye contact with the audience. That's why it is called as introvert. It is performed in group generally where the motions are circular and continuous. Clear? And facial expressions are very much subdued, never exaggerated. Okay, so that is about Manipuri dance. Next one is Mohini Yattam. Sometimes it is also called as Mohini Attam. Like Kathakali, it also originates from Kerala. Clear? It gets its name from Mohini. And you all know Mohini is one incarnation of Lord Vishnu. The only feminist incarnation of Lord Vishnu is Mohini, a form of Vishnu only. Now, when it comes to Mohini, it has to be essentially feminine. Clear? Feminine form of dance hoga, which will be performed by women mainly, or what we can say majoritarily it is being performed by women, but sometimes male dancers are also there. Clear? Traditions from Natya Shastra, clear, and Lasya style because Lasya represents the feminine aspect. And when it represents feminine aspect, the main thing or the most important aspect of this Mohiniyattam dance will be the facial expressions because it determines or it provides information about the emotion. So, facial expressions are key to this particular dance. Clear? It is traditionally performed by women only. That is what I have told you, because it is Mohini Attam, represents the Mohini. Okay. Next is, when it comes to Mohini Attam, it is done wearing a plain sari, clear, and musical instruments are here mentioned. Next is Odissi. Odissi, again another classical dance which originated from temples. Okay? In Odisha, Maharis or female temple servants, the same system, Devdasis, where it is being performed on various occasions. It is traditional dance which was remolded as a theatre art towards the middle of 20th century, a latest one, and that's why it is being recognized as classical dance at the last as well. Okay, Vaishnav sect in Odisha is the sect which is connected with this Odissi dance. The movements are soft and graceful. The dancer is supported by a singer, a drummer, and the one who plays pakhavaj and flute. Okay, so that is what when it comes to Odissi dance. One last one is Satriya. Here now this Satriya is again important. Why? Because from last 2 years it is in continuously in news. First, because of Shankar Dev, the founder of this particular sect. Here, this particular individual was a Vaishnavite saint in the medieval India. Clear? And he invoked, because Vaishnavite sect talk about bhakti. So when we will talk about bhakti, it needs to be performed, it needs to be a complete devotion. And when it needs to be complete devotion, it has to be performed either by recitation, recitation of mantras, or by having some type of dance or having certain type of drama. Clear? So in that way, devotion needs to be performed by certain action. And Shankar Dev, a Vaishnavite saint, initiated, or what we can say, uh, developed a new type of bhakti in Northeast particularly, which is a dance drama called Satriya. Clear? And from here, it originated during the time of medieval century, medieval India. Clear? It is propagated by Vaishnavite saint Shankar Dev, the same saint who was pioneer in bhakti movement in northeast, particularly Assam. ठीक है, ये आश्रम होते हैं इनके. ठीक है, it's still there. It was there in news last year. Some tag has also been given, or certain movement has been, activity has been done. Okay? It is distinct genre when it comes to classical Indian dance from Northeast. Clear? So that is about the dance forms. Okay? Now, when it comes to music one, music is also being divided into two, classical and folk. Clear? There are few things which it will be there in your write-ups. Clear? Now we will discuss about paintings. When it comes to paintings, painting is one of the earliest art which is being performed by people. We trace the origin of painting some 8 to 10,000 years ago. So this is what the history when it comes to paintings. Now, when it comes to paintings, the earliest evidence of painting has been found from Stone Age. Stone Age. Why I am writing Stone Age? Why not the exact Stone Age? Because it is being performed in all three lithic age. It was there in Paleolithic, it was there in Mesolithic, it was there in Neolithic. So, entire Stone Age being having evidences that painting is being performed by the people of Stone Age. Now, during the time of discussion or the beginning of our this crash course, I have told you that during this Stone Age, one site is there, which is Bhimbetka in Madhya Pradesh. It is having more than 400 paintings, more than 400 paintings. That means that much extensiveness is there. Now, the painting which is being performed by these people, the Stone Age people, is particularly done for a purpose. The purpose first is the identification. A particular identification mark is being painted on the wall of the cave, outer wall of the cave, so that it can be seen from a distance that this particular cave belongs to me. Second, for entertainment, to enjoy their life, leisure activity, and third thing, out of fear as well. Out of fear in the sense that electricity was not there, smartphones were not there, and there was always a threat of animals. So, when there was a threat, they have to live their life in such a harsh condition. They were having fear of natural forces as well. Clear? So, while having that fear, looking at that paintings, they can get involved in those paintings and fear is will be in their background. Clear? So, वो भी एक aspect था painting बनाने के पीछे. Now, what they painted? Paintings has been made by them, but what painting they have done? Simply what they saw. Animals. Now, even in this aspect, it is not the small animals which is being frequently seen by them. The big animals, bison, elephant, clear? So main theme when they draw animals were they draw big animals which can be considered that they witnessed it in awe that such a big animal is there. So that's why they painted it. Then certain dance which they have performed, that is also being painted, or certain action. Action in the sense if they went on a hunting expedition, so they depicted these things as well. So what they performed in their day to day life, what they saw in their day to day life, it is being depicted in their painting. And like today's time, brushes, canvas, stylus pen was not there. So what they did, they painted through natural fiber. Natural fiber. पेड़ की टहनी ली, उसे कूट के एकदम पत्थरों से ब्रश टाइप क्रिएट कर लिया, एंड that was their paintbrush. So painting is being done by natural fiber. Clear? And colors. Colors has been extracted from natural elements. Natural elements. So they made colorful painting. And painting was quite simple. As I have depicted in the very first session as well. So their human being was this much simple. इतना easy था उनका इंसान. आज तो हम we look into various facial expressions, but they used to make it like this. Clear? Earlier, the fiber or the brush was thick. Over the period of time, it became finer. Clear? So that type of simple paintings which is being done in Bhimbetka, more than 400 paintings has been depicted, and at one particular place there were 40 layers of painting. Clear? Sorry, 40 nahi, 20 layers of painting which has been seen. So layers means a particular individual lived. When some other came, he painted it according to him. क्लियर. और ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि एक ही इंसान ने कुछ पेंट किया हो, अगले दिन पसंद नहीं आया तो उसे वाइट वॉश करके कुछ नया पेंट कर लिया. बट व्हाट वी हैव सीन 20 layers फ्रॉम भीमबेटका itself. So that is what about the initial certain introduction of painting. Now when it comes to origin, 8,000 years ago, primitive tools and nature-based colors were used. Clear? Divided in two, mural and miniature. Now, mural painting is wall painting. Simple. Wall painting. When painting is performed on a particular wall, be it a wall of a cave, a building, or anything. When it is being performed on a wall, when what you can say in simple words, when the canvas is big and sometimes natural as well, it is the mural painting, where entire cave wall will be the canvas. And when it is being performed on a small scale, in the minuscule form, in a small form, it is called as miniature one. Okay, so that is what two different types of paintings which is being performed initially during Bhimbetka, during the time of Guptas, during the time of Mauryas. What we have seen? We have seen mural paintings. Clear? Mural paintings were predominant. Miniature painting came in the later phase. Miniature painting was also there, but was not done in the form of painting as such. Utensils has been painted. Okay, so it was a form of miniature only, but not as a painting, but it was done as a design. So we cannot call them a painting. Clear? So mainly during ancient time, it was the mural painting which is being predominant. Okay. Now, when it comes to mural painting, we found mural painting very interesting as they depicted the contemporary lifestyle, because what I have said, what they will paint what they live, they will paint what they see. Clear? So it also represents the contemporary lifestyle of that particular time. Okay, so that is about the mural painting. Now, mural paintings has been found from various places. Bhimbetka, I have already told you. Apart from Bhimbetka, Ajanta paintings, the paintings in Ajanta caves, which is mainly Buddha. Clear? As I have discussed when we discussed about the Gupta art, Ajanta caves were there, predominantly a Buddhist cave. So, paintings will be from the life events of Lord Buddha. Clear? Various events of life Buddha has been painted there. Now, Ellora painting. In Ellora caves, it belonged to all the three religion, Jainism, Buddhism, and Hinduism. All the three religion were present in Ellora. So paintings were there of different religion. So goddess Lakshmi is also there, Vishnu painting is also there, Shiv is also there. Clear? So that is about the Ellora painting. Now, the Bagh painting again predominated by Buddhism. Sittanavasal painting, which depicts animals, Badami painting, and South Indian painting. Now, there is a sharp difference when it comes to paintings in North and paintings in South. When we see the paintings in North, particularly, I'm talking about this. Clear? Here, we can say it is more religious. And when it comes to paintings of South, see animals, fish, duck, people collecting lotuses, dancing figures, Vaishnavism, lotus, flowers, dancing figures, fish, geese, buffaloes, elephants. So it is more natural or secular as compared to this, where essential phenomena is religion. Clear? So that is what a difference when it comes to paintings in Ajanta, Ellora and Bagh and paintings in South India. Clear? Now, these paintings is being mainly performed in the form of fresco. Fresco is a technique of painting where painting is being done when the plaster is still wet. Freshly plastered wall, उसी पे पेंट किया जाता है और जब फ्रेशली प्लास्टर्ड वॉल होती है तो वो थोड़ी सी गीली होती है, नमी होती है उसमें, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट व्हाट हैपेंस, द पिगमेंट्स ऑफ कलर is being binded by the plaster elements, so it become part of that particular wall only. So that's why over the period of time as well, these fresco paintings are still visible. Clear, some has been destroyed, but majority of them is still visible, like what we have seen in Ajanta. Ellora की destroy हो चुकी है. Clear, but we see paintings in Ajanta as well. Some कुछ यहाँ पे भी है, बाकी that is what the main difference. Now, coming to miniature painting. Mural paintings, we have discussed what is important, the places where mural paintings has been found, and the depiction which is being done. Clear? So this is about the mural painting. Now, the miniature painting. Miniature painting, as I have told you, that it is performed on a small canvas. Clear? It can be a paper, it can be a cloth, a book, or any other material. If I draw something on this board, it is also a type of miniature painting. Clear? Which cannot be erased. ऐसे नहीं कि मैं ये painting बनाया और ये erase कर दिया. ठीक है? That type of thing will not be called as painting. That will be called as a rough work only. So there are different schools of miniature painting. Clear? But paintings has been pioneered by Pal rulers. Painting is being pioneered by Pal rulers. So first school of painting in India when it comes to miniature was the Pal school. It was in late 8th and 9th century, particularly Pal school on the eastern part of India, Bengal, Bihar, Odisha region, eastern part of India, during the time of 8th and 9th century. Main colors were red and white, clear, and different plates. Buddhist monasteries, Buddhist universities were the prominent centers of these paintings, and not only this, the depiction was predominantly Buddhist. I'm not saying only Buddhist, but predominantly when it comes to Pal paintings, Buddhist images has been created predominantly. But this Pal school came to an abrupt end during the time of 11th and 12th and 13th century. Why so? Because during this particular time, Muslim invaders, the Turks, they invaded and some destroyed the art places or universities or the polity of Eastern India, and hence Pal school came to an abrupt end. Okay, so that is about the Pal school. You can see the painting here. Lord Buddha is being depicted here. Clear? Another image of God is being depicted here. So that is what? The Pal school. Now, second one is the Western Indian school. Now, this one is in many ways a precursor of the Rajasthani school, Gujarati school, or Malwa school of painting. Clear? And in this style, वही रीजन है गुजरात राजस्थान मालवा और लेटर ऑन इट बिकेम सेपरेट आइडेंटिटी राजस्थान स्कूल अलग हो गया गुजरात स्कूल अलग हो गया मालवा स्कूल अलग हो गया क्लियर represented in the simplest and most visible manner the human figure is being depicted clear a background which is rich in color thick boldly drawn and heavy stylization that is what the style which is being performed in the Western school. Clear? Now, not only this, this particular school inspired the Rajasthani, Gujarati, and Malwa school. So, when you will see the Rajasthani art during the later period of time, you will see heavy ornamentation there, heavy decoration there, borderline work will be there. Clear? So, that type of inspiration has been drawn from Western Indian school. Now, next one is Mughal school. When it comes to Mughals, Mughals contributed significantly in the art and culture of India. Not only art culture, but also in the architecture one. We have discussed it already. Now, when it comes to Mughal school, miniature paintings reached its zenith during the time of Akbar and Jahangir. जहांगीर को पेंटिंग का बहुत शौक था शाहजहां को कंस्ट्रक्शन का बहुत शौक था क्लियर so but this was the time when paintings during the time of Mughal reached its zenith Mir Sayyid Ali and Abdul Samad Khan were the two Persian painters which has been employed by Humayun and later on they worked under Akbar clear Now, this is a synthesis of Indian style as well as the Safavid school, Persian painting. Indo-Islamic हो चुका था सारी चीज़ें, influenced by the Persian elements, influenced by the Indian elements. So during this particular time, it was a mixture of both. Scenes of warfare, hunting, trials, clear? These things has been depicted in the painting. Clear? There was a greater attempt to portray reality as well as distance and horizontal perspective. So, try to depict in a three-dimensional view. Create करने की कोशिश की गई है कि horizontal perspective भी emphasis हो पाए. Apart from this, this and the third dimension. Tried. 3D पेंटिंग की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ मैं, बट कोशिश की गई कि वो थर्ड आस्पेक्ट भी depict किया जा सके. Clear? Akbar and Jahangir encouraged those things, but again, after Shah Jahan, it came to an immediate end or abrupt end. Why? Because of Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb did not promoted these type of activities. So he stopped all those things, and not only stopped, he also whitewashed those paintings which is being prepared during the time of Jahangir during in his palace. So वो चीजें भी है. Okay, so see the beautification and a three-dimensional image is being created. The emperor has been sitting and a particular horizontal dimension is also being depicted in a 2D image. So that is what I am talking about, that the horizontal dimension is also being started being depicting. Ornamentation on the wall, heavily canvassed, each and every aspect of the canvas is being covered. Even in this image, the multiple aspects of canvas with ornamentation, the buildings has been depicted here. So these type of things is being there in the Mughal school. Now from this Mughal school only, inspired by this, a new school came. That new school was Rajasthani school. Clear? Rajasthani painting was deeply influenced by Mughal style. Clear? Rajasthani painting are the works that have been executed in Rajputana region or the Gwalior Ujjain region in Madhya Pradesh. These paintings are mostly religious, clear? And bold outlines and brilliant colors are the characteristics. Bold outlines and brilliant colors are the characteristic of these paintings. Now see the images. Heavy ornamentation, colorful, clear. The art of Rajasthan is very colorful. So when it comes to Rajasthani art, bold color is being used, clear. Ornamentation is being done because it is being inspired by Mughals. And what they depicted? They depicted mainly the love stories. Either the depiction was of love story or certain religious aspect. That is what the predominant theme when it comes to Rajasthani painting. See, the romance of Padmavati, clear? Panchatantra, these is being painted. Mahabharat, these things is being painted in Rajasthani school. Now next is Pahadi school. Now what happened? This there is a in story behind this. There is a reason why this Pahadi school came into existence. That when Aurangzeb stopped all those things कि नहीं करना है पेंटिंग वगैरह कुछ, clear? So what happened to the artist moved from the Delhi area or the Mughal dominated area to some regional areas, and from that one school came, that is the Pahadi school, which was there in Himachal Pradesh, in some parts of Jammu and Kashmir. Clear? So that particular school, this is what the reason why Pahadi school emerged or Pahadi school came. Now, because it was performed by those artists who came from Mughal influence, so Mughal influence यहाँ पे भी नजर आएगा. Theme romantic with superior soft shadings, clear, and exquisite backgrounds. ठीक है? And that is what the depiction. Certain miniature schools are also there in this Pahadi school. See the depiction. The depiction of the love story of Lord Krishna and Radha, the bhakti of Meera. Clear? That is what the theme when it comes to Pahadi painting or Pahadi school of painting. Okay. Now, next one is the Deccani school. Deccani school of painting. Deccani paintings are developed by the rulers of Bahmani kingdom. Clear? And it is sensitive and highly integrated blend of indigenous art with foreign art. So it is a mixture of both. In the Bijapur style of painting, there was rich color scheme, the palm trees, animals, men and women is being shown, in their Deccani tradition. So that is what is being shown. Profuse use of gold color and painting is decorative. That is about the Deccani school. See the paintings. Okay, so that is what about the painting styles which are being prevalent in India. Now, over the period of time, these paintings has evolved, clear, and modern paintings or modern art is also a part of these historical development. Now, not only this, what we can say that questions will be asked from this particular section only, that mural, miniature, क्लियर, यहीं से क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा, या फिर इसके अलावा यदि पूछा जाएगा तो ड्यूरिंग द रेन ऑफ which ruler this type of school has emerged. So I have told you about the school, the area and its prominent theme. क्या होती है, यहीं से आपको क्वेश्चन आएगा. इससे ज़्यादा अगर आप कोशिश करते हैं पढ़ने की इन डेप्थ, सो द कॉस्ट बेनिफिट रेशियो विल बी वेरी फ्यू. द कॉस्ट बेनिफिट रेशियो इज that how much input you will put and how much output will be, how much benefit you will get from that particular input. So whatever I have discussed during this particular time in art and culture, architecture, paintings, religion, literature, clear? You have to remember those things which I have taught directly, and those things which I have mentioned in the class, references has been given. Those things needs to be looked upon by you, so that if question deviates, my presumption says questions will come from this particular section only, but if question deviates from that particular aspect to a certain level, those things which I have referred in the class, you need to go through it. Like in today's lecture, I have discussed about Sangeet Natak Academy. So go through Sangeet Natak Academy, when it was constituted, whether it is a statutory one or non-statutory body. These type of things you can refer. Okay, and beyond this, art and culture is very less cost benefit. कॉस्ट बेनिफिट उसका फिर बहुत कम होगा. इससे ज़्यादा कितना पढ़ोगे कि फिर तो आर्ट एंड कल्चर पूरा ही पढ़ लोगे तब भी कम ही लगेगा. ओके, सो वी हैव टू summarize our preparation in that way, that maximum output with optimum efforts. I am not saying minimum efforts, optimum efforts. जितना ज़रूरी है उतना तो पढ़ना है ही, क्लियर, बट एक्स्ट्रा ओवरलोड ना करें हम खुद को, जिससे आधा या एक क्वेश्चन ही बने. ठीक है, सो दैट इज व्हाट अबाउट आर्ट एंड कल्चर. ओके.